Championship Big Weekend. Fulham v QPR, reading, Bowyer, Brooks. The championship is back this weekend, and Benjamin Bloom has you covered with all you need to know for the big weekend ahead, with odds from Betfair throughout. Match to watch. Fulham v QPR. Not only is Fulham v QPR a juicy local derby, but it pits the championship's two top scorers against one another in a battle of the early season entertainers. The even better news for those people who love a good old goal fest is that both sides have been conceding at a speedy rate too. Of the top six, only QPR have shipped more goals than Fulham, and in the top half only Reading have shipped more goals than QPR. It can be tempting fate in situations like this, but with two teams who average over 3 goals per game so far, a host of attacking players and 2 attacking managers, surely this matchup will deliver. In terms of form, things are a little bit patchy for both sides. QPR found their way back into the top 6, ready for the international break with back-to-back victories, however the previous 3 games were all defeats. Rangers fans will rightly point out that 2 of those defeats came at the hands of West Brom and Bournemouth, the current top 2. Even when they're winning, QPR don't do things the easy way and have been behind at some point in 8 of their 11 games so far. In terms of points output, Fulham's form dropped significantly during the latest batch of games. Of course, the 2.6 points per game recorded over the first 5 matches is a hugely high bar to judge things by. However, the drop to 1.2 points per game over the next 6 is a massive reduction of over 50%. The immediate past tells us QPR may be in a slightly better moment than Fulham, but then the Cottagers have home advantage. With the involvement of the likes of Wilson and Mitrovic, Willock and Chair, Silva and Warburton, this should be a great advert for the championship, but with the usual anything can happen caveats well and truly attached. Both teams to score 4/7, Betfair, team to watch. Reading, we often make reference to the championship being a bit bonkers, but let's be honest, that's why we love it. If the best teams always won and the cream always rose, things would be a little bit boring. One side that seems determined not to line up their results with the narratives that surround their club is Reading, who sit in 10th spot following a lovely run of 4 wins in their last 5. This is of course the same Reading who raced away under Veljko Paunovic at the start of last season, following a run of 7 wins in their first 8 games. This season it's less the element of coming from nowhere and more, the odds being against the Royals after a transfer embargo, key departures and another infuriating positional injury crisis at centre back. Sometimes we focus too much on what teams don't have, rather than what they do, and what Reading do have is an abundance of technically good attacking players, capable of a match-winning individual performance. The obvious ringleader is John Swift, whose contribution is so obvious no more praise needs handing out, but others alongside him like Alen Halilovic, Ovi Aharia and Tom Del-Bashiru have also exquisitely helped fire Reading to victories this season. Followers of expected goals numbers love Reading as they've continually outperformed the metrics, indicating a consistently high level of finishing with not necessarily high-quality opportunities. With a potential FFP points deduction on the way, the ability to score in the way Reading do makes them capable of surviving the deduction and also capable of winning games in unexpected and often spectacular fashion. Reading to beat Barnsley 11/10, Betfair, manager to watch. Lee Bowyer, Birmingham. Birmingham have hit a bit of a roadblock under Lee Bowyer, with 4 defeats in Blue's last 5 games, representing potentially the most difficult run so far under Bowyer's watch. I've tried to choose my words carefully here and avoided saying the biggest challenge so far, as that obviously came as soon as Bowyer walked through the door last season. Bowyer, a former League Cup winning midfielder with Birmingham, took over with the club 1 point above the relegation line, with the 2 clubs immediately below having played fewer games. In just 8 games, Bowyer took Birmingham 9 points and 6 places clear of safety, ensuring a totally stress-free last couple of rounds of fixtures. This season, after 6 games, Birmingham were looking at a very different line, sitting 1 place outside the playoffs after a thoroughly decent start. Bowyer had kept up the good work from the end of last season, with the addition of Tahath Chong on loan from Manchester United, returning boyhood fan-made good Troy Deeney, and a rejuvenated Ryan Woods, all ready to add more. These past 5 games only Cardiff have the dubious distinction of picking up less points than Birmingham, with Bowyer's to-do list starting to focus on big long-term team-building tasks, as opposed to the short-term objective of survival last season. Will he stick with the 3-5-2 that requires flair player Jeremy Bella to move back to wing-back? Who will make up the attacking configuration with Troy Deeney now in the mix alongside Scott Hogan and Lucas Jutkiewicz? Will the supposed dressing room harmony issues be addressed by moving any regular first-teamers out? All will be revealed. Unfortunately for Bowyer, first up is a red-hot local derby with West Brom. Birmingham to finish in the top half 6/5. Betfair player to watch. David Brooks, Bournemouth. We won't be seeing the player to watch this weekend, but Bournemouth winger David Brooks' announcement earlier this week on social media that he was suffering from stage 2 Hodgkin lymphoma is clearly the most significant championship story. I'm sure many people ask the same question as me: how can a super fit 24-year-old professional athlete end up in this horrible situation? The answer is that health problems don't discriminate against who they affect, and it's a stark warning to all of us to stay fit and healthy and ready to fight in the event we are put in the same awful position Brooks has been. There is some good news though. In his statement, Brooks said, "The prognosis is a positive one, and I am confident that I will make a full recovery and be back playing as soon as possible." It's hard not to go straight back into football fan mode at this point and judge everything on when we might see him back on a football pitch again. That will obviously be a long-term goal for Brooks, but a successful treatment and full recovery is the first hurdle. Brooks promised to share updates when I am able to do so and asked for his privacy to be respected, so with that being said, I'll say no more. We often look at footballers like they are superheroes, however cases like this show us that they are just as human as the rest of us. I'm sure everyone wishes David Brooks well and is looking forward to that best-case scenario where he's recovered and back on the pitch in front of championship fans doing what he loves the most. Bournemouth to win the League 7 halves. Betfair, odds correct at the time of publication. 18+, please gamble responsibly. Visit begambleaware.org.